CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with today's spike in fuel prices. Gas stations across London were above $1.70 today, and there doesn't appear to be any indication they'll drop in the short term. Gas had dipped to about $1.40 a litre at the end of last year, but since the U.S. and Israel launched their military assault on Iran, prices have risen steadily, especially once Iranian forces brought a major oil shipping channel to a standstill. According to industry experts, where the price goes from here will depend on what happens in the Middle East. With the latest on that situation, here's Heather Wright.
An explosion near a Saudi Aramco site in Riyadh lit up the night sky, one of several sites targeted by Iran as this war spreads to energy sites in the Gulf. Iran is retaliating for a strike that hit its South Pars facility on Wednesday. Attacks were reported in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and in the United Arab Emirates. The attacks on energy infrastructure have rattled markets and are leading to concerns about disruption to the global supply chain, with energy prices jumping 10% this morning.
Will backfire politically.
Today, foreign ministers from a number of Middle Eastern countries met in the Saudi capital. So far, they have not responded militarily to Iran's attacks, but warned that could change.
As we have stated quite clearly, we have reserved the right to take military actions if deemed necessary.
Here in Dubai, warning alarms go off daily, with the vast majority of missile and drone attacks successfully intercepted. Work at construction sites continues, and there is little mention of what is generally referred to as the current situation. We're here in the spice souk, which is normally pretty busy, and it's relatively quiet today, partially due to Ramadan, but also the government has asked people to work from home, and school has moved online. As Ramadan ends, all outdoor prayers for Eid al-Fitr have moved inside for safety, many bracing for what could be a lengthy conflict.
This war has really gone from a short, sharp Venezuelan in and out to it could be this decade's version of a quagmire for the United States, again, just a la Iraq, Afghanistan, but this one's actually got more impacts because it's economic.
In Lebanon, Israel stepped up its attacks on Beirut as it expanded its ground invasion against Hezbollah, the Iran-backed militant group that operates out of the southern part of the country. Lebanon says the death toll has now climbed past 1,000, with an estimated 1 million people internally displaced. Today, Lebanon's prime minister said his country did not want this war and is asking for negotiations with Israel to end it. As countries grapple with skyrocketing energy prices, there are also concerns this conflict could soon impact the global supply chain. Aid groups are already sounding the alarm about vital relief unable to get to countries like Afghanistan and Sudan. Heather Wright, CTV News, Dubai.
The attacks on Middle East oil and gas facilities are fueling volatility across financial markets. And today, President Trump insisted the operation would be over soon as he met with Japan's new prime minister. Joy Malvin reports.
It's an honor to have you. Thank you very much.
Japan's new prime minister walking a fine line with this president, the pacifist nation condemning Iran and its pursuit of a nuclear weapon.
Only you, Donald, who can achieve peace across the world.
But like other allies, reluctant to jump into the president's war, offering economic support instead of warships. Trump is still bitter with NATO nations who rejected his initial call for military support to secure the Strait of Hormuz, a critical oil supply route blocked by Iran.
I expect Japan to step up because, we have that kind of relationship. I'm not surprised that they would step up. We don't need much. We don't need anything.
And with more attacks on oil and gas facilities in the Middle East, rattling energy markets, and fast becoming a global crisis, the Trump administration says it plans to remove U.S. sanctions on Iranian oil stranded on ships. Trump was pressed, though, on why he didn't inform allies first before going to war.
We didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Okay? Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Okay?
The president facing political pushback as the price tag mounts, and the Pentagon now asking for another $200 billion to fund this war.
As far as $200 billion, I think that number could move, obviously. It takes money to kill bad guys.
And that's raising eyebrows in Congress.
How long is this going on? Are there going to be boots on the ground? How much is this going to cost? And the answer on most of this is, I don't know.
Hoping to reassure Americans, the president claims his operation in Iran will be over pretty soon, saying that he has no plans to deploy ground troops at this time. Joy Malvin, CTV News, Washington.
London's police chief says the provincial government's decision to cut funding for supervised consumption sites won't impact his policing priorities. London's CarePoint facility is now facing closure in a matter of months. Lauren Stallone reports.
London's police chief Ty Trung is reacting to news from the province that funding will be terminated for 7 supervised drug consumption sites.
We're going to have to just pivot.
The government made the announcement last week. The cuts affect sites located in Toronto, Ottawa, Niagara, Peterborough, and London. The chief says while he understands there are some concerns about public safety, his top priority is keeping the streets of London safe.
I think for us, I'm really focusing on what we are doing in the opioid crisis.
During the London Police Service Board meeting held last month, officials provided an update on the open-air substance use strategy program, saying there have been fewer complaints of open-air drug consumption since the strategy's implementation in April of last year.
Average level of agreement with the statement, my employees have expressed safety concerns relating to the location of the business, dropped from 4.40 to 3.37.
When asked how the province's decision could impact that progress, Trung said,
I think it doesn't impact us as a police service. We're going to continue with our efforts with enforcement, continue to work with the community, and we really need to continue moving forward and look at what is best practices for us.
The sites affected have been given a 90-day notice by the province and are expected to stop operations by mid-June. Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
A second suspect in the Chesham Place weapons investigation has been granted bail. 21-year-old Astrid G left court early this afternoon. She's one of 4 people facing charges stemming from an investigation dating back to January, the details of which are under a court publication ban. G's bail conditions prohibit her from being on Western University property. She's also banned from communicating with several people, including the 3 other suspects. She's due back in court on April 23rd. Local realtors are warning against a proposal at City Hall which would require anyone buying an older home in London ensure their weeping tiles are disconnected from the sewer. With more on the issue, here's Daryl Newcomb.
50,000 houses in London, all built before 1985, still have weeping tiles draining stormwater into the sanitary sewer system. It's why severe storms can trigger basement flooding and sewage overflows into the river. But a proposal at City Hall that would mandate disconnection when an older house is purchased, work that can cost $5,000 to $10,000, is concerning local realtors.
We're a little bit worried that if it was a mandatory program, that it will affect our sellers and our buyers.
In December, a committee held off endorsing the new Pollution Prevention and Control Plan update study because politicians wanted information about alternatives to the mandate tied to home sales.
Much, if not all of my ward would probably be impacted by it. I'm still willing to look at the options. I'm not really willing to just accept it outright at this moment.
A staff report still backs the long-term strategy after reviewing the alternatives, because if the city started charging a fee to penalize homeowners with connected weeping tiles, it would disproportionately hurt low-income households. The staff report emphasizes that creating more storage to temporarily hold the excess water isn't a long-term solution. There will always be capacity issues like in the summer of 2024 when the storage pipe beneath White Oaks Park surcharged, sending sewage into numerous basements. City staff are seeking council direction to simply investigate the potential for a disconnection mandate for home buyers. Implementation would require approval in the 2028 to 2031 multi-year budget, and it could include municipal subsidies to lower the cost of disconnections. But in a local real estate market increasingly focused on affordability, realtors believe more options should be on the table.
We are working to find any solution to help buyers and sellers along with the process. And adding this extra little bump in the road to a sale is not beneficial for the public.
The Infrastructure and Corporate Services Committee will consider the Pollution Prevention and Control Plan update on March 23rd. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
The federal government announced $1.6 million in investments today for two companies in London and Stratford, meant to alleviate the impact of tariffs.
You need good equipment to make sure that happens, and the equipment that's been purchased as a result of this investment allows for that.
The money amounts to $750,000 for Armo Tool in London and nearly $900,000 for a plastic injection mold producer in Stratford called MVA. It's coming out of the federal government's $100 million regional tariff response initiative. Leaders from both companies say the funding will help stabilize their workforces.
We expect it to both ensure that we keep the jobs we have, and we expect growth of, my estimate would be 10 people over the next year. But automotive has always historically been our largest market, and it's been quite challenging since Trump's disruptions. So to be able to stabilize the workforce we have and have modest growth over the next 2 years is actually a very strong achievement.
Knowing that we have equipment that will be reliable, and by being reliable, it puts us in a position to be able to secure our relationships, our partnerships with our customers.
A St. Thomas company has announced a more than $3.7 million investment in its own facility. According to company officials, Forest City Castings will also receive a $500,000 grant from the provincial government. They say that money will be invested in new equipment and hiring for 5 new positions. The company makes metal castings for various industries, including the military and medical sectors. Provincial police say 6 people were hurt in a crash north of Seaforth this afternoon. According to police, 3 adults and 3 young people were injured when 2 SUVs collided. They say 2 people were airlifted to hospital with serious injuries, while a third was taken by land ambulance. The injuries to the other 3 people are not considered serious. The crash happened at the same intersection where a school bus and transport collided 2 weeks ago. We premiered a new episode of Leading London today on our website. In this edition, I'm in conversation with Sarah Campbell, Executive Director for Arcade Street Mission. Here's an excerpt from that interview. How would you describe the working relationship and you can only speak on behalf of your organization, but maybe frontline agencies in general, the working relationship with London Police?
Well, you know what? We personally rely on the police quite often, our organization, because when things get to a certain level, you need the police to come and you need them to come fast. And so what we have developed with our organization is a really healthy working relationship where we can say, we're going to handle what we can handle within our own purview. Here's our confidentiality policies. We meet with them on a regular basis and say, here's how we're going to handle these things. What do you think? But we also invite them into our conversations early. Can you help us to detect where we might have risk on safety or where we might have risk with the community members? Can you help to teach us how we might help someone who needs to declare a criminal issue? I just talked to you about people being assaulted or harmed out on the streets. They need protecting as well. So we work with police in those ways. On the flip side, there are times that we have to have difficult conversations because the laws that the police are made to enforce, right? The laws are not theirs to make. Their job is to enforce them. We may not agree with what those laws are because how they may be interpreted can actually criminalize homelessness or poverty. We don't want that to happen. The truth is most police officers don't want that to happen either. So it's a conversation.
For my full interview with Sarah Campbell, you can head to our website, ctvnewslondon.ca. Still ahead, contempt for tipping culture. A new survey suggesting Canadian sentiments have had enough of it.
Lured by lies, trapping Canadians.
She's a 19-year-old girl.
W5 uncovers a crime syndicate, hunting for traffickers.
They just asked me to find people for them.
Watch W5, Saturday at 7 on CTV and Crave.
Markets in Canada and the U.S. endured another day of declines. In Toronto, the TSX lost 458 points. In New York, the Dow fell 204. The Nasdaq dropped 62. The Canadian dollar is down 1/5 of a cent today. On commodity markets, gold plunged $290 an ounce. Oil gained 9 cents a barrel. The RCMP commissioner says there is no evidence suggesting India is currently conducting any foreign interference in Canada. That's in stark contrast to the messaging that's come from other Canadian intelligence authorities. Abigail Beeman reports.
The drumbeat of foreign interference followed the Prime Minister during his trip to India, where he touted billions of dollars in deals with the country and invited Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Canada. Right before he left Canada, a government official said India was no longer involved in foreign interference. A claim that saw pushback from the intelligence community, 6 in Canada who say they are still targets of violence, and eventually, while taking questions after leaving India, from Carney himself.
I would not use those words. Okay.
Now, in an exclusive interview on CTV's Power Play, the RCMP commissioner backs up the original comments.
In the files that we have that involves transnational repression, we're not seeing any connection right now with any foreign entity. So, based on the criminal information, the investigation that we have presently.
Mike Duhem told Vashi Kapelos more than once there currently is not evidence of transnational repression by the Indian government in Canada.
We have people that are intimidating people, harassing people, but connecting the dots to a foreign entity, regardless of the country, we don't have that.
While India's High Commissioner to Canada told us in Mumbai it was never happening in the first place.
I've been telling from the very beginning, it's a problem Canada has to resolve itself. I'm just saying it's not a question of no longer. It was a never happened.
Canada's spy agency has called India one of the main perpetrators of foreign interference and espionage, according to its most recent annual report. During the Prime Minister's trip, CSIS doubled down on that, saying its threat assessment has not changed. CTV News has asked again, in light of this new interview, whether India is still considered a main perpetrator. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Good evening. I'm meteorologist Gary Archibald for CTV News. We are still looking at a volatile influx type of weather pattern. Big swings in terms of temperatures over a short period of time. The jet stream is starting to level out. In fact, it's starting to move northward, and that means a good southerly draw of milder than cool air and maybe a switch from flurries to rain showers. That could be the dominant feature in terms of active weather over the next 24 hours. Cloudy tonight, a bit windy through the overnight, and potentially showery, but temperatures could be in the double digits for tomorrow afternoon. Maybe 11 degrees Celsius for a daytime high. And the weekend could, in some parts, be even warmer. I'll break down what you need to know coming up.
Welcome back with Gary Archibald tonight. And Gary, we're nearly there, almost officially into the spring season, and we got a bit closer to spring-like temperatures today.
You're right about that, Carlyle. A bit milder, and that will be the trend for tomorrow, the first day of spring, and then even for maybe Saturday and Sunday combined. A bit of an outlook. Bullet points, just to give you an idea of what we as meteorologists have been sorting out. The long-term forecast over the next 3 months, Environment Canada leading the way, giving us pretty detailed outlook, but it doesn't look like it's going to be an average season, one that's likely to be in flux. Big swings in terms of temperatures, cold, then warm, then seeing rain, and then maybe even some lingering snow. Expect changes to take place within 24 hours at times, and we've gotten a taste of that this late winter season. And April and May is likely to be, well, quite wet, both months. And May could be a volatile one, bringing in early showers and thunderstorm activity for the mid-season. All right, the almanac today, mild slightly above seasonal by a degree, and we did see some peaks of sunshine across parts of southwestern Ontario. The worst weather is well to our east, that's snow in and around the nation's capital, but there's some snow headed towards northern central Ontario in the next day and a half. We could see some light flurries, the usual suspects through the midwestern tier of southern Ontario, and some trailing showers. I cannot rule out the possibility of some of this rain producing activity. Also see embedded light thunderstorm activity for tomorrow afternoon. I'd say early afternoon, close to about 1-2 p.m. Snowfall tallies, if you have travel plans in and around Toronto, perhaps north of or east, there's quite a bit. 10 to 15 centimeters. Meanwhile, we're likely to see showers. And speaking of, here's the breakdown for tomorrow. 8 a.m., already 6 degrees Celsius. That would be seasonal for a daytime high. We'll get warmer from there, upwards to about 7 or 8 through the midday. It will be windy potentially, and that's where we could see some thunderstorm activity. 11 degrees in the late afternoon, still windy, but we'll take the mild temperature. Here's the breakdown for the next 7 days. Up and down we go in terms of temperatures. Wild swings into the season as I specified. Saturday looks pretty good. We could get up to about 10 degrees Celsius in some parts in and around the great city of London. Back to rain, but warmer still on Sunday. Fair weather through the start of the work week next week, but cooler at least until Thursday. The Midwest is, well, a bit messy. Could see early morning, pre-dawn, rain, ice pellets, freezing rain mix. Thunderstorm risk late morning, early afternoon. A high of 9, then 8 and 9. Fair, then rainy, wet, Saturday into Sunday, respectively. A fair day on Monday, but much colder. Look at this, down to -1. And then things creeping up bit by bit as we head towards the middle to end of next week with more showers and maybe even some flurries. There's that volatility, the influx trend that we anticipate for this new season. Carlyle?
Thanks very much, Gary. Tipping culture could be reaching a breaking point in Canada. A new survey suggests a majority of Canadians want to get rid of it. With more on the data and the potential impact for the service industry, here's Kimberly Fowler.
A lot of Canadians say they're pretty much done with tipping.
I think it should be included in the price. You shouldn't be asked to tip.
Just because you're doing your job doesn't mean you need to be tipped for doing your job.
Many businesses implemented suggesting tipping options during the pandemic, but now the expectation to leave a tip has some customers saying it's gone too far.
I used to love tipping extra for really good service, and I feel like that's kind of gone away now. Even for bare minimum service, they expect 18-20%.
And they're not alone. A new survey by H&R Block finds 2/3 of Canadians want to do away with the practice. And nearly 9 out of 10 people say they resent businesses that ask for tips at places where they don't feel tipping is necessary. And 4 out of 10 people say they avoid going to places that ask for tips at the register, like fast food places, coffee shops, or self-service counters.
I go to Chuck's here quite a bit. They don't ask for a tip, and the service is fantastic.
At Chuck's Deli and Convenience at train yards, tips aren't expected, but appreciated.
They have a tip jar, which is optional at the counter, which I do quite often with them because the ladies are fabulous.
The owner believes all tips should be left up to his customers.
Some good customers like to, and some people they don't. They walk out without tipping. One guy, construction worker guys, he grabbed a $50 and he put it for the lady. So you never know.
Chicken, pickle, vegetable?
But getting rid of tipping could affect the day-to-day operations in the service industry, and at restaurants, it could mean higher prices for customers to offset the loss of income to employees.
I would assume it would be included in the price. I mean, minimum wage is quite high already, so if tipping were to be taken away, I don't know what that would look like. I don't know what the workforce would look like for that.
But many say the tip options make them feel guilty or pressured.
Even though we feel annoyed by this question for the tip on the machine, 57% of us, so more than half of us, will give a tip anyway.
Kimberly Fowler, CTV News.
This Slopes Report is brought to you by Bowler Mountain. Thursday is the last full day of the winter season. Spring kicks off tomorrow, and the dramatic swings in temperature and active weather are likely to continue for a few more weeks. Corn snow and a depleted base with continual melting during daylight is the trend as we head into the weekend. Bowler Mountain still has 1 centimeter of new snow. 13 of 15 trails and 4 of 4 lifts are open. Tubing is closed. Blue Mountain is staying cool for the next several days with 1 centimeter of new snow. 11 of 11 lifts and 38 of 43 trails are A-OK. Overall, the snow is machine-groomed, loose granular. And at Highlands Nordic, there's 3 centimeters of new snow with 23 kilometers of skating and 23 kilometers track set. The base is 17 centimeters. Snowshoe trails are also open. As always, travel safely and enjoy the remains of the snow.
Finally tonight, young hockey players from across Ontario are in Goderich this week for a March break tradition dating back to the 1950s. With more on the tournament's milestone anniversary, here's Scott Miller.
Nearly 100 hockey games will be played this week in Goderich as Young Canada Week marks its 75-year anniversary.
Young Canada Week is the oldest continually running hockey tournament in the world, and we have 9 years on, we have more than 9 years on anybody else, and we're just going to keep on going.
In 1950, 12 teams played in the first ever March break hockey tournament in Goderich. 75 years later, Young Canada Week, which is run by the Goderich Lions and Goderich Minor Hockey, has grown by leaps and bounds.
The actual tournament is still 9 days long, 3 divisions. We have 44 teams coming, over 90 games.
Corvo says generations of hockey families, including Wayne Gretzky, have played in this tournament.
So I spoke with a gentleman that was wearing his Pee-wee jacket from 1957. People arrived with the 50th anniversary caps on. We had people driving an hour and a half to loan us their memorabilia to put on display. So that just speaks in itself. You don't have to say anything else about how important this is, not just to Goderich, but our community and hockey tradition for 75 years.
Play started last weekend and won't wrap up until Sunday night. By that time, nearly 100 games will be played at Goderich's Sifto Arena. A March break well spent, say the volunteer organizers.
It is beyond tradition. This is the best hockey tournament in the world, in our opinion.
In Goderich, Scott Miller, CTV News.
And that's it for us. Thanks for watching. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a good night.